I can never tell if I'm in focus or not. It's fine. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know the lighting is a little wonky, but it's from my laptop and then a little bit of outside and whatever, but it actually fits the theme of today's video. That's right. We're doing a spooky video today. I am home alone in the apartment, so this is not a good idea for me. Not even a little bit. I figured I would start this series kind of thing where I just read you guys these scary stories that I find, or we talk about true events behind a horror movie, or we talk about true scary stories, or we just read random fake scary stories, whatever. So if you guys are totally up for this, definitely click that thumbs up button because it helps me to know that you're enjoying these. Okay, let's get into it. So I got on this website and I'm just going to be reading these Reddit stories, and according to bustle.com, these are 14 creepy real-life stories from Reddit. The first one, then who was on the phone? I was alone in the house. An unknown number called me and I could hear the same TV show I was watching. I kept saying hello and my voice would echo back. I thought it was just one of those broken calls where you hear your mic feedback, but what happened next creeped me out. Right before I put down the call, I heard a voice whispering, "Goodbye, good night." I stared at the phone, confused of what happened. Then I said hello again. The static and the echo disappeared. It was all quiet, then suddenly, "Hi." I put down the phone, turned off the TV, then ran to bed. Now apparently these are true, so that one gave me the chills, and I'm immediately regretting filming this when it's slowly getting dark outside and I am by myself. Whew, okay, on to the next one. The shape in the trees. Oh, this is great, because there's trees right outside. Perfect, perfect. My eyes are watering, can you tell? Was up late one night watching TV alone in the living room when I was about 12. Heard my dog growling in the kitchen. Sometimes he does that when he sees something in the backyard. A cat, a squirrel, a plastic bag blowing in the wind, the moon, whatever. So I go to investigate and see him standing at the door with the hair on his back standing way up. Like the way I've only ever seen it when he's about to get into a fight, or wants to. So I creep over and look out. I see nothing. After watching for a minute or two, I figure it was probably a raccoon that's gone. So I open the door to let the dog out. He steps out a few feet and stops in front of me, looking off towards the shed in the back corner of the yard. It's the middle of the night, and only the back porch light is on, which isn't enough to really light up the whole yard. I look towards the shed, scan around it, and nothing. Then my eyes drift upwards, towards the tree that hangs over the shed. There's some dark, undefined shape up in the tree, and the instant my eyes fix on it, it quickly floats up like a wisp of smoke being blown away and disappears in the backdrop of the night sky. No sound whatsoever, no flapping of wings, not even the rustling of branches. My dog goes mental and starts barking at it. He's still right in front of the door, so I reach forward and grab his collar, yank him inside, and book it out of the kitchen. I try to wake my mom up, blabbering about some dark cloud in the tree, but she's fast asleep. To this day, I have no idea what it could have been. Can you imagine, like, everyone's asleep in the house and your dog starts barking outside and there's a shape in the trees? Absolutely not. Okay, so there's 14 stories on here. I'm going to read 5, and then maybe I'll do a part 2 if you guys would like that. 3, there's someone in the house. I can't remember whether I have shared the story on Reddit before, but whatever, I'll retype it. I don't believe in the paranormal, but some stuff went down at a place I used to live about a year ago that I still can't explain. It was part of an old Victorian house that got split into 4 smaller apartments. Each apartment had really nice high ceilings and its own laundry room. Our laundry room was the only one that had attic access. Not like the usual pull-down stairs or anything. We're talking a 3x3 square cutout of the ceiling held up by 2 long planks on the attic side that were nailed into it. Inside the attic, there were 2 beams that were nailed along the outside of the hole to keep the square in place. In order to get into the attic, you would have to completely lift the square clear of the 2 beams and push or twist it to the side. A couple months after we moved in, we noticed that the attic access was open. Like, perched crookedly across the runner beams. We figured someone went in there to inspect before we moved in and forgot to close it, and it just took us a while to notice. We tried to close it and couldn't on our own. We didn't have a ladder, and there was nothing besides the washer and dryer to stand on, which didn't make us, or even our 6'3" downstairs neighbor, tall enough to get it shut. So we had to pile boxes and a bunch of stuff up and hold it still while our neighbor climbed precariously up and shut it. Fast forward another few months, and I was out of the apartment hanging out at my boyfriend's place. I got a frantic call from my roommate saying that she heard a whump noise and went to check it out, and the attic was open again. She sent me a picture, and it looked as if someone had pushed it up enough to clear the beams that slid it back enough so that one of the beams that held it up when it was shut was angled out of the hole. So essentially someone was definitely going up into the attic, and that's no thank you. No thank you, sir. No thank you. I used to hate those pull down stairs, like up into the attic. I used to hate it. First of all, no one likes attics unless you're a grown man and you're constantly doing work up in the attic, or a grown woman, I don't know. But me, never. Okay, growing up, never liked the basement, never liked the attic. Traditional scary things for a kid, you know. And nothing ever happened, but it just always creeped me out. I don't know. And then you see all those horror movies, like for instance one of the newer movies within the past couple years, The Boy. There's a scene with the pull down stairs and she gets shut up there and everything else. Like, that's terrifying. I mean, if you think about it, I'm actually pretty sure I went up in the attic one time, and my brother was there, and I'm pretty sure he shut me up there and terrified me for a couple minutes before he let me back down. So thank you, Aaron. Thank you so much for that. 4, the little old lady. I used to have sleep paralysis a lot as a kid. I still get it on occasion, but back then it was like once a month. I saw the old hag, aliens, shadowy figures, heard voices. Pretty much everything that can happen has happened to me. The worst one I ever had was when I woke up not able to breathe, seeing an old lady sitting on my chest, not moving, just staring at me and smiling. The feeling of being convinced I was going to die has stuck with me 8 years later. Okay, so that might not seem like a really creepy story, I mean, compared to the other ones, but if you think about it, sleep paralysis is absolutely terrifying, and I'm so lucky that I don't, I've never been put through that. Have you ever had a nightmare where in the dream, like, you may know that you're dreaming, but obviously that doesn't help you because you can't wake yourself up. But have you ever had that moment where something like scary is in front of you, and in the dream you try to close your eyes and you can't? Like, you close your eyes but you're not actually doing it, and like you can still see the thing. Oh my gosh, that has happened to me so many times. It's completely terrifying. Number 5, short and shivery. Heard a tapping on my window at night. Next morning there was a handprint on the outside of my window. I live on the 3rd floor of an apartment building. Enough said. So those 5 were pretty short, so I'm just going to read 2 more. So let's say we'll read 7. The Hornets spooklight. There is something called the Hornets spooklight in Joplin, Missouri? Emma was Missouri, right? It is a light that has been documented back to the early 1800s. It has been studied by the Army Corps of Engineers with no explanation. It is a spherical light that moves along the Missouri-Oklahoma state line. It doesn't have any pattern, changes colors, and sometimes splits or gets bigger or smaller. It appears to have some intelligence as it interacts with people. So on to the story. My grandpa, who passed away before I was born, took my dad and his siblings to see it back in the 50s. There used to be a museum there. So my dad decided to take us to see it on a road trip back in 1986 to see it. I was 2. I remember being out in this dark road and getting scared. My mom was pregnant with my sister at the time, so she and my grandma, Dad's mom, took me back to the van. I was in my car seat in the middle seat, and my mom and grandma were up front. All of a sudden, the back of the van lit up with a bright light. My mom and grandma got really quiet, and I turned around. The light danced and moved around right there behind the van. My mom obviously freaked out and got out of the van running. My grandma stayed in there with me watching it. It only stayed for a little bit and then went away. My dad and siblings came over at the commotion, but I honestly don't know if they ended up seeing it. There was also a time in high school that we saw it again. It rapidly moved up and down the road and got about 20 feet from us and went up in the air as much as 50 feet, I would guess. The funny thing is that we When we stopped at the gas station / truck stop, the locals wouldn't give us directions to it. My dad couldn't remember the way. We finally found some teenagers to help us, but even then, they wouldn't take us all the way there. Weirdest and creepiest experience of my life. You can look it up. There's no explanation. That is really weird. I've never heard of that before. I mean, to see like a bright light coming at you, I don't know. I don't know. Unsolved mystery right there. Number 7, the phantom cigarette. This happened a couple of years ago. I woke up one morning. I had one of those bad dreams where you wake up in a rush and immediately sit up. This time it was different though. I had a cigarette in my mouth. I do not know how it got there. I accidentally breathed some smoke through my nose and started coughing, and accidentally put my hand on the cigarette, burning it. Again, I had absolutely no idea why that happened. Worst part, I live alone, my doors and windows were locked, and I don't even smoke. Tried it twice before that, that's it. It wasn't a dream because I got up and went to work as usual, although scared as heck. And I kept the cigarette butt on my table. It was there for weeks afterwards. I threw it away eventually though, so I can't provide pics of it. Why would they keep the cigarette though? That's what I don't get. Either way, that's really, really weird. To not have cigarettes in the house and then wake up with a cigarette in your mouth. Weird. Really weird, because that would make me paranoid, like someone was in the house and like, okay. So there are 7 more on this site. I read 7, there's 7 left. So if you guys would like a part 2, get this video to 10 likes and I'll do a part 2. If you guys enjoy stuff like this. Honestly, the very first one freaked me out the most. The one about the phone, that would be absolutely terrifying. Yeah, so that one, well, you saw, like, I was getting all teary-eyed and stuff, so that one really creeped me out. The rest of these were creepy, like the shape in the trees, that was really creepy, but none of them got me as much as that first one did. That was terrifying, and I pray that nothing like that will ever happen to me. It won't. Positive vibes, cleanse there with positivity. So if you guys want to see more scary videos like this, leave comments suggesting what kind of scary videos you want to see, or give this video a like, or, you know, just do something. I usually have polls on Instagram and Twitter, so you can go and vote on those. But in order to vote on those, you gotta be following me, so make sure you follow all of my social media. Vote on polls of like what kind of videos you want to see and all that. But make sure you leave comments and get this video to 10 likes if you can, and I will do a part 2 of reading these true Reddit scary stories. Make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. I make all kinds of videos and post every week. Don't forget to click that little bell notification so that you can get notified every single time I upload. Definitely always leave video suggestions down below in the comments and let me know. Alright, I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Don't forget to dream, wake up, pursue, and inspire. Bye! Red Reddit, funny. A cat, a squirrel, a plastic blag. So we're not gonna do that. I had my mirror facing me and I didn't want to do that. No, I have goosebumps, chills all over me right now. Turning on New Girl for a second.
I'm very poor. Having a checking account would be an honor. I'm a writer. I've written a zombie book. It's terrible.
Oh, okay. My contacts are like making my eyes water. That and the fact that I'm creeping myself out. Okay, I'm freaking myself out. This is the water. Oh my gosh, my shoulders, man. I keep thinking your voices. There's definitely music. It almost sounds like an ice cream truck. Absolutely not. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I hate that. Don't say that ever again, Rachel. Stay safe out there, kids.
I know, like your perfect crime.